Alright. That took care of the problem. That was smart. Okay. So, you went out and saw Aunt May sometimes on the weekend.
Yeah.
Any other vacations that you can remember that were
We never
special?
went with the kids and stayed overnight in a, oh, after they all got bigger, we went up to Toronto one weekend. And, because the kids remembered that. They were older than, you know, it made a difference.
So what about after the kids were all gone? Do you remember any special vacations that you took that were exciting places for you to see?
No. Of course, Dad was still working. Grandpa was, and did the same thing. I mean, we had this 2 or 3 people that we played cards with every now and then, but it wasn't any big routine on that. Or Grandpa was pretty much to stay at home. He
Buddy, enjoyed it.
He would, and then of course when he got into barbershop, boy, that was a little bit more. We did more things, I guess, after he got into the barbershoppers.
So when was that?
Well, it was when we were still on Pleasant Avenue in that little house. Uncle Jack knew somebody that was a barbershopper. And Dad stayed in one night and went to Uncle Jack's for dinner. And then they went to this barbershop meeting. Well, Dad got there. He really loves singing and stuff.
He liked to sing prior to that.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's Uncle Jack got him started in barbershop.
Did the barbershop quartet tour around or just sing locally? Or
Well, they had, each city would have like a barbershop group. And then they picked 4 guys got together and to see how they harmonized, and if they got pretty good, then they went to other meetings and let them hear and criticize and all that. I didn't go. He went. No, that wasn't for ladies. Only when they had a show, because usually each group from each city would have a show at once a year. And we'd always go to those, of course. And, yeah, but we weren't 2 people to want to go traveling that much. I mean, yeah.
so I know you said you went to the 1939 World's Fair in New York? Is that right?
Well, yeah, Grandpa was still working for Lehigh Valley then. And so of course we got free tickets to ride the train down to New York. And that's when they don't steer the train. And here we were in the mountains, going around the mountains.
So that kept you up at night worrying about the train?
Well, just going over the cliff, I was worried about going over the cliff, and how could they steer that train and keep it on the track?
I remember too, wasn't that the first place you saw television at the World's Fair?
Oh yeah, because we went to, Dad was real interested then. He liked to see things like that. And so we went there and we were looking around, and the guy said, I was talking to him, I said, I don't believe that you can take a picture of this room and see it in another room. He says, come on, we'll take a picture of your husband. Come on over in the other room here. So I did, and they put him up, or had him just standing there.
That's so neat.
And so that was exciting.
So So the first time you saw television, the first thing you saw on television was Grandpa.
Yeah, right.
Very neat.
That's right. Never thought of it that way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how often did you go into Buffalo, or didn't you usually go into Buffalo? Was there anything you went into the city for?
I went in maybe once a year, Aunt Dorothy and I, even after I was married, because Grandma took care of my kids. Just for the day, just to shop around and look around. And,
So you could buy everything you needed in Hamburg usually?
oh yeah. Well, Hamburg had 2-3 grocery stores and a meat shop and they didn't have any place to buy clothes. So, well, the DC shop had it. They were very expensive clothes at the show. They did have Cinderella dresses. Grandpa Fours. Dad's father. He took Sally up to a little shop that was called the DC shop, and he bought her 2 or 3 new dresses and yeah, kids' clothes in that store were. But he bought 2 or 3 dresses for her to start kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
And he was always buying something. Like one time when they were older then, in like grade school, he took them on the bus into Buffalo, but I don't know which store he bought them at, but bought each Dick and Sally, bought them a new outfit for Easter.
Mm.
And Sally's was a dress and a little coat and hat. Dick's was a sailor suit.
Oh.
He bought them. So they had new outfits for Christmas. That was when we were on Main Street, East Main Street.
Did people really dress up for Easter?
Yeah, kind of people did, yeah. I mean, they did. Wasn't like the Easter parade to see. It was just people. You go to church and everybody had a different kind. Well, spring hats. They started wearing spring clothes, and so their hats were. They had a fancier hat or something for Easter, but the 2 older kids had more things, like from Grandpa Fours and stuff. He was always buying them something. Oh, I shouldn't say that, because one day he came to the house during the day, and he comes with a dress for me from a shop that was in Hamburg right on the corner. And he knew those women, and he got to know them and talking to them. He'd just go in and he'd describe me, and then he got to know, or they got to know who I was. And this one time he went up there and come back with this dress, a black velvet dress.
Oh,
my God, it was the finest stuff. It was great. I never would have spent that kind of money on a dress. But he thought it would look good on me.
So he was just a very generous man?
Pardon?
He was just a very generous man?
Yes. Yeah. He was always trying to buy something. Yeah.
He was close with Judy, right? The 2 of them were very close?
Well, they wrote back and forth when Judy got in college. They start writing back and forth. He was sending Judy recipes and how to make oxtail soup.
Oh, gosh.
It was good. When you know what it was, you think of oxtail soup. But it was good. And of course, when he moved to North Collins, and even before that, I guess, we'd go down to Scranton to visit him with the kids, because we always went every Sunday, just Scranton to, well, when Grandma was alive and great grandma, and that we always went to, down there, and we'd go after lunch, spend the afternoon with them, and then have supper. He used to buy tongue,
No.
sliced tongue for sandwiches. Oh, I had the worst time getting that sandwich down.
No.
Anyway, but we usually go down and just have sandwiches or something, you know, nothing very light. And so,
Was there a particular day that you went to see your parents?
they lived across the street when
So
we.
you saw them all the time?
Oh yeah, when Sally and Dick, well, they're like maybe 2 and 3, and then Judy came along, and then we moved away from there. Then we moved down on Scranton Road in that little house.
Mm.
But yeah, every once in a while we'd go over for Sunday dinner, but only if it was something special, you know. Well, at the time Aunt Dorothy and Uncle Pidge were living in with Grandma and Grandpa Friedman. So,
What sort of things would your mother make for a Sunday dinner?
most of the time it was a roast beef, a chuck roast, and she put it in the oven and baked it. I guess she got started at that when she was a kid, because I can remember right from the very beginning that she made this Christmas, or no, just Sunday dinner. But it was always a chuck roast, and sometimes she would cut potatoes up in smaller pieces and put it around and let them cook in the juice of that, and carrots. She'd always put carrots in with her chuck roast.
Did they grow the vegetables?
Sure. Little tiny garden out in back that she had. She had that. We had 2 I went away. 2 regular Bartlett pear trees, no 3, but they were so old that we didn't get much off of there, but we had these sugar pears, sickle pears, little tiny, about that big. They were sweet as all get out. They were delicious. Little ones, I mean, about that big around, not very big around on the bottom. But we had those out back in the yard. She never canned any of those though. Don't know why. But she'd always buy in the summertime, get a bushel of pears and we'd do them up, can them. And then she used to make syrup and then put the peaches in the jar and then put syrup in, so we'd have syrup with them. And yeah.
Did you do any canning? When you were married, did you do
What?
any canning?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like Mother'd get a bushel of green beans. See, our little garden in the back just was like for a meal. We'd get enough for a meal for 6 of us out of that garden for a meal. And other things that would be just enough to. Oh yeah, we did peaches. And we did green beans, we did corn, we did, what else did we, oh my gosh, I can't, because I know she'd get a bushel of green beans the night before we were going to can them. We'd all sit around and snip the ends off the beans. the green beans. What else did we can? Oh my gosh. Beets. They used to have these pottery, I don't know what you'd call them. They were different, held different, so many quarts in a thing. Some were small and some were bigger. They do sauerkraut every year. And what else did she do with those jars? Oh, and when eggs, at one time during the year, the hens lay more eggs than what you could use for cooking, you know. And she would buy them and put them, I want to say isinglass, and that's not the name of it, some kind of glass. But you just take the egg and put it in this crack and put a dozen or two eggs in there and put this solution over the top of them. And they were good to stay just in that crack all winter long to use, mostly for cooking she used them.
So they weren't pickled or anything, it was just
No,
like a regular egg?
Just eggshell on and all. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You told me the other day about when you were married you had some apple trees, then you made cider.
Oh, that was on East Main, across from Grandma and Grandpa Friedman. They were just, this was an old house and they made it into 2 apartments. And these apple trees were there, but they were so old. I mean, you know, really an old tree. But this man upstairs, somehow he knew how to do things, you know, like farmers or stuff, like that type of people. And he says, oh, well, let's to Grandpa, well, let's make some cider, you know. So they went out and bought barrels. Each one had a barrel. We had a big, or not a big basement, but a place to put those barrels. Somebody else before that might have put the barrels there. And so anyway, they used those barrels and they went over to took it over to the cider press and got, what, a half a barrel a piece or something. I don't know what that ended up with. But they had